Hi everyone, my name is Alice from House of ZK Radio. I'm here today at Noircon 2 hosted by the Aztec team, and right now I'm here with the co-founders of ZKPassport. I'm very curious to hear about your guys' origin story. So what led you guys to first co-found ZKPassport?
Yeah, great question. So I was getting into ZK a few years ago and really enjoying the whole learning journey. Experimenting with like Circom, and I really wanted to as a way to learn, create something that was basically a useful, practical, some kind of project. And originally I created like a JSON verifier that essentially could selectively disclose like values in a JSON payload, and then also the ability to have like a signed JSON payload. And that kind of conceptually, if you think about it, is very similar to what an e-passport is, in the sense that there's data fields there. There's like your name, your date of birth, the country, but then your country will be signing over this data. And so that then led to that idea when I sort of discovered that, there's these NFC readers in mobiles as a way to actually read this. And then the idea sort of fully started to come together. And then at a ZK summit some time ago, I met my co-founder, Theo. We weren't co-founders at the time, but he was working on a very similar project, and for whatever reason, Anna had put us back to back. So we had pretty much like a very similar talk on passport proving, and we kind of met up beforehand. I was like, hey man, I'm Michael from and by the way, I think we like have pretty much the same talk back to back. Did you want to maybe we could like discuss slides and
coordinate
so we don't just have the same thing? I was super happy they did that, because then we could focus. I think I went more high level, you went more low level, vice versa. And then we kept contact after that, kept in touch, and then blossomed into a beautiful co-foundership.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Love
that. Like Michael mentioned, I'm assigned on different projects, very similar, also building a whole somewhere at similar logic. The way I came about this is that I've got into Web3 overall like in 2021, maybe 2021. I explored into space, but then ZK caught my attention quite a lot. I first really practically interacted with it at ZK Hack Lisbon, and the first edition of the hackathon that I've been going through every time since then.
I think you won like ZK Hack.
So I won general prize at
4 in a row.
Every single one I've been to.
Congratulations, nice.
4th in a row. This time we're going to sponsor.
We're actually judging, and this is the first time that you'll be judging on the other side.
Oh, exciting.
All of your experience accumulated, you can finally put it into the...
I can change the side of the table, going from the hacker to the judge.
The judge. The judge.
Yeah, Joe. It's the judgehood.
Yes.
So after that, on that ZK Hack Lisbon, so that was my first time like doing an actual circuit, and I chose to use Noir. Aztec was like a sponsor, but they were not giving any bounties, and there were a lot of different bounties available. But I felt like Noir I really liked it, and even though I wouldn't get any bounties from it, I was like, I'm still gonna go for it.
That's just commitment, right? It's not about the money, not about the bounty.
We managed to get some prizes with it, but like not specifically from Aztec. And the idea of the project we had was like called 40 Friends, which was like a private dating app in some sense. So like you have preferences, you want to keep them private, but you want to have someone else has the same preferences as you. So this is what we call like a private set intersection. You want to have a proof that you intersect with someone else's preferences.
Yeah, these preferences, you might not necessarily want to divulge these publicly, for these kind of preferences. But you also want to have find others that share these preferences.
Yeah, so you want to do that. We tried to with ZK, but the actual proper approach to do that would be NPC or 2PC. I think some people are working on that now. After over 2 years, I've been waiting for people to actually do it properly, because I've never had the time to follow up on that.
And so just to clarify, the actual challenge here is, if you do it naive approach, where you just register it with a service, you could kind of brute force all the different preferences and then just discover everyone's preferences, because you have an overlap with all of your 1,000 accounts.
So that's an issue we realized, among like beyond the fact that we'd have to use an NPC, that if you create a bunch of different accounts, different preferences, you would be able to brute force someone's preferences, even though you're supposed to keep them private. And one way to remediate this would be to have some way of like do one account, one person. It's not perfect, but that would limit the possible use case of exploiting the system. So that's kind of what got me started with the idea of identity, and that started to explore options at other hackathons on my free time. So explore Polygon ID, explore Worlds and others in the field, and I felt unsatisfied by what they were offering. Polygon ID, the problem being you need an active issuer, so you need to find someone that's an issued credential on the app. That could be a KYC provider, that could be an authority, so something more demanding. And for World, well, you need to find an org, you need to be willing to scan your eyes, which, well, depends. I actually ended up doing it, but it took me a while to actually accept that idea. And I was like, how about using passport and national IDs? At the time, I didn't know there was a chip in them. So we tried something with like ML, ZKML, kind of like didn't go so well. You don't get very much clarity from that. And then I remember one day, in Istanbul, I think there was Dev Connect. I met with Joe from Aztec, and that's where he told me there was a chip in passport. And I was like, wait, what? And then he said, oh, the data is signed. Wait, what? And I was like, wait, this is actually a pretty good thing to do in ZK. And that really got me started. And I started to explore, like I started to, there's a quick Android app, and I got my passport, read the data from the chip. I was like, whoa,
I actually moment with that. Like,
yeah,
wow, this is from my passport. Even the JPEG, right? The photo of yourself.
You get a wow moment. You actually get data from your passport, the same one you see physically on the passport. And I was like, oh, this is great. Now I need to find a way to generate proofs. But I cannot do this I can only do this with the native mobile apps. I was like, there's no proper way to do mobile proving today.
So we had to build out the tooling to do mobile proving on
Yeah, we had to build the whole tooling. So I was like, yeah, we need to find a way to do mobile proving on Noir, and that's where the whole thing started.
Yeah.
So we built a whole set of tools to be able to generate proofs on iOS and Android.
So we have like SWA, which is Swift and Noir. That's the Swift is the language you can use to develop on iOS, and then there's like Lardroid for Android. But also just going back to what you were saying about like these services that do sort of identity verification, but they become the attester. So the key difference here is that we have this beautiful provenance all the way from the governments attesting over the identity of their citizens. And if you think about it, this is also kind of decentralized in the sense that there's all these sovereign countries around the world, and who more appropriate to verify the identities. You change your name, you get married. Where do you go? You go to your government. They'll attest to that fact. And so we have these root certificates that are collected from official sources, and those are essentially like the trust anchor. And so when you're generating a passport proof, you're essentially verifying or proving that the government has signed over this intermediate certificate, which then signed over this passport data, and we verify that end to end. So you're not really trusting us. If we're just creating the circuits, you're trusting the actual governments themselves who originally signed this. And so these services that you give them you give your documents to them, and they will then attest to the fact that this is genuine. And even if they issue you verifiable credentials in ZK with that, they've broken that provenance all the way from the actual trust source, which is a shame, because why would you do that? Yeah.
Right. I see. Yeah, and it's really great to hear how you two first came together.
The origin story.
Yes, the origin story. I love asking all the guests on here like where it all started, and it's really good that both also looked into some work with selective disclosure as well, kind of providing like a spectrum between full privacy and then also like full transparency. So I think that's all really great. And on the topic for like mobile proving. So when you were originally looking into passport-based building, you both mentioned that you also had to consider building the infrastructure to allow for this global-based proving. Are there any other types of applications or use cases that you both are excited about that can be enabled now that mobile proving, like we're getting towards there now that it's possible?
I think that in general, in the context of privacy, even like, for example, Aztec, having the ability to do mobile proving. It gives you the ability to build mobile first applications. And that's going to be important not just for like ZKPassport, that's going to be important for wallets that want to do private transactions, because they need to do just some amount of client-side proving in that context. And truly, for most people, their phone is going to be their primary tool to do that kind of stuff. Like crypto people are used to use their desktop, laptop to do it because there's a lot of complex operation to do.
MetaMask, pretty funky.
Like a lot of clunky browser extensions and stuff. But like for the average user, like truly their phone is their primary tool for that. You want to interact with your bank, you use your phone. You rarely
Their banks like your Revolut, Monzo.
Yeah, you do a bank transfer, you pay something, use your phone.
This is how we use money in the real world, essentially.
So bringing like all the tools that we need on mobile, let's say, this is really important for the way forward.
One really exciting use case, we're currently building out a wallet called Obsidian, which is, so you have ZKPassport, which is like the non-profit, credibly neutral identity infrastructure. And that's that's not going to pay the bills for us, but that's fine because I think this is a really important thing to build and have, non-profit forever. But then we have this commercial enterprise that we're building, Obsidian wallet, that'll actually be able to synergize with the identity proofs. And the way that'll work is we want to have essentially like you can imagine like a Revolut from Monzo, but the actual payment infrastructure is blockchain, like Aztec network. So you can have privacy stablecoins that the user won't even know they use crypto, to be honest. It'll just be like Revolut. But it's fully private. So, when you buy coffee or you buy your groceries or you pay your rent, the other party to the transaction can't see your entire transaction history, which unfortunately is currently the case. And that's such a non-starter for the majority of people, the mainstream outside of the kind of Web3 bubble. And for that to be the case, then if you kind of think a bit more forward, fully private transactions isn't really going to fly with a lot of regulators. And so that's going to affect the UX, the user, if they want to be able to off-ramp into the real world, right? So like to exchanges, Coinbase, whatever it might be. And so you need this compliance layer, but you don't want to compromise on these values and the properties, privacy essentially. And so we can have ZKPassport plugging in at the identity level. So every time you transfer these private stablecoins around, private USD, private Euro, you're proving that you're not from a sanctioned country, that you're not on a sanctioned, OFAC SDN list. All of these really cool things and these cool primitives now that we have, while maintaining full privacy. It kind of inverts the KYC. So instead of some other third party verifying your identity, you're verifying your identity yourself, that you're from whatever the properties are, constrained to a circuit, enforced through this circuit. And that's just going to be really amazing, I think, to see play out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really great how you guys are kind of navigating through that trade-off plane of UX and privacy, but finding a way where you can balance both. So you mentioned that, with the Obsidian, users don't even kind of realize that they're using crypto.
Right, yes. They don't really care about that, right? It's more about like the properties that you get from it.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like for just like ZK in general, for anyone using a ZK-based app, they shouldn't have to understand how those underlying primitives work. They should just be able to use it without even realizing that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's really great that you're, evaluating both the user experience side, but then also not compromising privacy.
Yes, yeah, thank you. And you want to respect the user in general. And so for that reason, you have things like they'll always be able to, give permission to share these details. You get like a request prompt for when you connect it to a website for sharing, disclosing what country you're from or whatever it might be. For the stablecoin that you transfer around privately, you might just accept once, and then going forward, the wallet will take care of generating the proofs. All of the magic kind of happens behind the scenes, but you always, it's like informed consent initially, and then the kind of flow.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. And just wondering what's next for ZKPassport. Is there any way that any of the audience members can get more involved?
Anyway, so like the project is open source, so we're definitely open to contribution, feedback. We currently improving the app, so we still have UX improvement to be made, bug fixes, because there's so many different passports across the world. So we're able to test all those.
Yeah, please come and try it out, because the more people that use it, the more rough edges that we kind of can help smooth out from all these different signature algorithms and whatnot.
The clear goal is to have it working for everyone that has a valid passport, has a valid national ID, and really iron out all the details, the issues, so the experience can be smooth for everyone. We really want that UX to be simple for everyone. We obsessed about the UX.
Yes, nice. Taking UX as like the first principle to consider.
Absolutely.
And amazing. Well, thank you guys so much. And I've always admired the ZKPassport team and your initiative. I feel like nowadays we're seeing so much ZK infra, but it's great to see.
We kind of built both,
Use
right?
case, yes.
The infra, and we're also
And
plugging
the
our own,
applications,
we're
yes.
consuming it. Yeah.
Yes, so absolutely incredible. And thank you so much for joining today.
Thanks for having us on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.